Hi guys, it's Pedro. Hope you're doing well. And in today's video, I would like to talk about how to earn more money within your compositing career. And for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Pedro and I'm the founder of Lair. And apart from this channel, Lair is basically a company that provides a specific training for aspiring or current compositing supervisors. And we've been helping like a lot of people also in this domain, and that's why also I would like to talk about this today to give a little bit of those insights to you, right? Now, there are different ways to earn more money in your compositing career, and we're going to talk about a little bit of all of them. But before we delve into each one of these suggestions or insights, if you will, I would like to mention that some of them are more sustainable than others, okay? And I think sustainability is a key factor regarding this type of stuff because, speed on achieving like all these things is important. It's essential, I would say, right? In your career overall, but the fast buck mentality can be a big trap. Okay, so it seems like it's the same thing, but it's not the same thing, okay? And we will unpack a little bit of what this is. So let's talk about like the first way, okay, today on how to get more money in your compositing career. So the first way that I can share with you is, or the advice would be not to be too comfortable. Don't get too comfortable in your position, your current position, okay? Because if you're too comfortable in your current position, that will make you lose the enthusiasm for the craft after a while. Not every time. You might, if you're one of these people that have been in the same company for a long time. If you feel that you're too comfortable, you will eventually feel that your enthusiasm and passion will fade a bit, right? And with that comes also it will also fade and will put also a limit on your progression, and that feeling that gets attached to you on the subconscious level will probably interact with you as I said before, in the subconscious level that will then can be influencing on how you present yourself within like a job interview as well, because people can tell. We are all humans and we are very good at interpreting like very subliminal like expressions and the way that you come across yourself, and you can come across as someone that is jaded, that is not enthusiastic about like the craft anymore, and you're just there to get a higher salary or just to get the money, and that's it, right? And there's a lot of reasons, and we're not going to delve into this today, but there's a lot of reasons of why our industry is very prone to make us feel like this, but we're not going to get into that right now, right? But it's what I'm just mentioned right now is like try to fight against getting too comfortable, all right? To some of you probably already know this, but because I've mentioned it before, but I left places because I felt like I was too comfortable. So after a while, what means getting too comfortable? It's good to be comfortable, right? But at the same time, it puts like a lead on your progression because you don't feel enthusiastic about anything. You're applying the same thing all the time. It's the same sort of project, same sort of people, the same. Yeah, all the projects are sort of different. But if you're applying like the same things all the time and you don't second guess yourself because you know the company so well and the people that work with so well, after a while you start, this passion and this type of stuff start to fade away, and then it becomes like something even bigger, which is you will start doubting about like whether or not you have the right skills that will be interpreted in the way that people see you right now because you've been in this company for so long. What happens when you go to a different company that you don't know anybody, right? So don't get too comfortable because that will influence basically when you go to this different company, how you come across and the ability of your negotiating a higher salary, right? So that will be tip number one. Tip number two, which is related with the one that I just mentioned, and I kind of tapped into that kind of stuff, which is don't stay too long in the same company, okay? Take this with a pinch of salt, but when you stay too long in the same company, the progression in salary, like the salary bumps that you'll get like every year, they're not going to be massive, right? And what I'm about to say take this with a pinch of salt, but statistically, when people change jobs, they can earn up to 50% more in comparison with the ones that stay in the same job, in the same company for a longer period of time. Again, take this with a pinch of salt, okay? But this is basically what data shows, right? And we're talking about, of course, the comparison within same levels of experience. Otherwise, it won't be a fair comparison, right? But I'll give you an example. Let's say that you are in the same company for, I don't know, 3 years or 4 years or whatever. You probably have the experience that the salary bump that you get is like around 3%, 5%. Normally it's not real, I mean, it can be more, but normally this is like the typical kind of the salary bump. And sometimes there's not even salary bump, and you probably, can relate to that, some of you at least, right? But, if you change companies and if you play your cards really right, then you can look kind of easily, and again, take this with a pinch of salt, right? But if you do things right, you can earn up to 20% more, right? Because, you are already with the job. If you stay in that job, that's the sort of like salary bump that you can expect, like 3 to 5% more or less. But if you change companies and if you play your cards right here within the interview, and if you fight against the things that I just mentioned before, if you do it right, you can, get like a salary bump of like 10%, 20%, right? And then if after like a couple of years or 3 years or 4 years, it all depends, right? You do the same, then you get to the figure that I just mentioned before, the 50% thing that I just mentioned before. Now, when I say that take this with a pinch of salt, it's because these figures or these percentages can differ a little bit from country to country, but I would say that like in general, this is not that far off from the majority of the countries, okay? And I think you can understand this, and some of you probably already have this experience when you change jobs, when you change companies. Some of you did it right, some of you didn't do so well, but you probably noticed that you got a salary increase, right? Now, you need to play this game carefully, like this jumping from company to company, because if you change jobs like very frequently, that's also something that it's not going to be, good for you, right? And during my time, I looked at, more than I could count, like CVs and LinkedIn profiles and stuff like that when I was hiring people, and this was something that I was, noticing as well, whether or not people were jumping very frequently from job to job, right? So that's something to look at, all right? So you need to play this game carefully in order for you to get like these salary bumps every time that you change companies. But it's a way. It's also a way, right? And the two tips, the two ways that I just mentioned are interestingly related with one another, all right? Now, the third way is the most sustainable way, and it also has the advantage of being able to incorporate the first two tips that I just mentioned just a while ago, right? Which is very simply growing in the career ladder. That's it, So when you grow, this will make things fresh in your mind. And if you do things right, you will also keep this growth momentum, because every time that you grow a little bit, you notice that there's way more things to learn. They are different from everything that you've been doing so far, because the role is different, for example, or the type of responsibilities that you have at the moment is different. So it makes things fresh, right? And then that triggers like imagination in your mind to, okay, if I was able to attain this, that means that I now can attain the other level of my career, depending on where you are at the given moment, right? And not only that will allow you to earn more money if you play things right, all right, because the more you grow in the career ladder, of course, it's expected. And again, that has also to do with your power of negotiating things, but it's expected that you'll earn more money. But again, there's also a very important part, which is the negotiation part, as I said just now. But it's expected that you will earn more money, right? But this way, it's sustainable also in a way that not only that will allow you to earn more money, it will also build up your professional profile towards your peers, towards the company, and to other companies as well. You know what I mean? So this is definitely the most sustainable way that you will earn more money. It's by growing in the career ladder. It seems like it's really simple, because it is. It's that simple. Simple, that doesn't mean that it's easy necessarily speaking, but all in all, like all these different ways, all of them have to do with growth. Growth is attaining like higher levels of salary, higher levels of, career growth. But you don't get there by just learning random things. And you also have always to have the sustainability part of the equation always in your mind, And we've been in, recent times, people thought that they were riding this unstoppable wave of like high salaries and jobs everywhere and all of that without paying attention to the sustainability on how they were conducting themselves and what are the things that they were learning and the things that they were investing their time in, if they were investing any time at all. Because that's also something that happened. And then when something happened in the industry, of course, there will be a straight cut, as we talked about many times before in this channel. And of course, they will suffer the consequences, obviously, right? So the ones that are more prone to not suffer the consequences are the ones that are paying attention to all these little details about everything that I'm just saying, okay? The ones that are not paying attention with fast buck mentality, because, although kind of it might feel good, but if it's not sustainable, it will really be just about that fast buck mentality, and will bite you in the ass sooner or later. So it's more about like sustainability in everything that you have on your side and the things that you don't have on your side that you think you should have. So you build that sustainability kind of mentality, right? But you get to this growth mentality and reality. It's not by learning random things with the mentality, like as we talked about other times before, like the more you know about random stuff, the more you are prepared for people to notice you in the right way for you to ascend, to these new levels. So that's not necessarily speaking what's going to happen. Sometimes it's exactly the opposite of what happens, right? So you need to play this right, to not lose your focus, to have like a strategy and to have like a clear path, especially when it comes to career ladder progression. Okay, if you don't have these, there's a very, very good chance that you won't be able to attain that kind of stuff, at least not in the way that you envision. And for context, in this matter regarding salaries and stuff like that, I'm not gonna share with you like the figures themselves for different reasons. Also take into account like that different countries, they operate like slightly different and they have like different currencies and stuff like that. But what I can share with you is basically a difference salary-wise between a mid position and a supervision position. So this difference, this gap in role is translated into salary between, I would say, 70 to 100K, independently of the currency that we're talking about. So think about that for a moment and think about like how much is costing you not growing your career. I think this can help you quite a lot, like understanding like how much is it really costing you, because sometimes we can't put a value on things. So I'm giving you this insight to you, okay? Maybe you already know this. Maybe you already had like this sort of, figure or about this figure in your mind. But in any case, I think it helps looking at things in this way to basically, kind of assess how much is it really costing you, So, in short, as I said before, the best way to earn more money in your career is basically by growing. It's as simple as I'm saying. Now, it's simple in the way that I'm saying it, but the big questions are, how do you do that, right? So, that's I would say that's possibly the question that is already, or was already in your mind before even we get to this stage of the conversation, right? But what I can tell is that that's exactly the help that we provide as a company. That's exactly what we do. So a lot of what we are talking about has to do with confidence or the lack of confidence, right? So that's actually a very typical kind of reason of why people seek our support, okay? Now, as you know, or as you probably know, we work with very experienced people, from experienced compositors to lead compositors, compositing supervisors, CG supervisors, compositing HODs, VFX supervisors, and even VFX business owners, right? So we have like all these high levels of experience regarding like all these people, right? Very experienced professionals, right? And you may think that this is sort of like the typical feeling of inexperienced people, But you'll be wrong because we're all humans, right? So we all react to things sort of like in the same way. Of course, with different levels of experience, which will then trigger different reasons or different subsets of confidence kind of situations that you probably want to solve, right? But we sort of like react to things sort of like in the same way, more or less, right? And these different types of confidence, or the type of things that people would like to solve confidence-wise, they have like these sub branches of what they can mean, right? As I said before. So it can be on the technical side, for example, can be on the management side if they're already holding like leadership position, or it can be on the relationship side, right? Especially when they have to deal with different departments and different teams, and they have to support their team. So what's the best way to to do that, right? And if they don't know how to do that, or if their experience has proving them that they're not doing a good job, they are aware of that, and that's the kind of stuff that then triggers like the confidence thing that I was just mentioned, right? And that's basically what we do. We help like these very experienced people solving these situations. So don't think that if you are feeling these confidence things or confidence issues, it's only you that are feeling them, because that's not what happens, all right? So, during my time, whether it's in the lifestyle program or during my professional career, I dealt with many, many, many different people, with a lot of people, with a lot of different levels, including like the top levels that you can think of. And you'll see that these confidence situations are present in all of them, in different ways, of course, but it's present in all of them because, again, we are all humans, you know what I mean? So if you need the help, seek the help, because that will save you a ton of time. As I said, like in other conversations like this that we had, it will save you a ton of time. And sometimes if you take the right turn, your life happens in a way. If you take the wrong turn, life happens in a completely different way, which can mean like very different things for your professional life from that moment onwards, right? So that's exactly what we do. We solve these issues, take these blocks out of the way, and according to the data that we collect, and we are very different by data, more than 98% of the people that we work with feel that these issues that they came in with are completely gone, and their transformation happened in many different ways that mean many different things for their life. That of course is professional life that is included, but also on the personal side, because you cannot detach completely like your personal side to your professional side. All of them are connected, and again, we connect as humans, so all of these things are related, you know what I mean? And we help them do this from day one, in different ways, in the very tangible ways, you know what I mean? Tackling like different parts of the professional life that also, as I said before, influence the personal side of things, right? And that's it, guys. This is the type of thing that I would like to talk to you today, giving you tips on how you can earn more money regarding your compositing career. And some of them are more sustainable than others. I think one of the big things that you should always have in mind is to avoid that fast buck mentality, not forgetting the speed within the process of earning more money. And that's not what I'm saying. I think it's an important piece of the puzzle, but not having that fast buck mentality. They seem like they are the same thing, but they're not the same thing. It has to do with how you think about the way to achieve those higher salaries. Okay. And if you need help regarding any of these things that I'm talking about, as I said before, that's exactly what we do. So if you would like to know more about like how we do it, just click the link below in the description and book a call with us, and we're more than happy to be on the call with you and to talk about like your journey, what are the things that you'd like to solve, and whether or not we are the right fit for each other, because it's about the partnership that we normally establish with people. Okay, so hope you liked it, guys, and I'll see you very soon. Okay, bye-bye.